Yes, y'all. Welcome to Office Hours. Happy Friday. Welcome. Living Success 24/7. Very excited. Can't wait. This is my first call. Yes, welcome. Excited to have you here. That's awesome. Welcome. Happy Friday. We will get this show on the road here in just one moment. And I hope you're doing well. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Hey Clay, awesome, welcome. I love it, first timers, that's awesome. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I don't know what I did. I just got back from a trip and I cannot find my good microphones. Okay, good, awesome. It looks like, what's up, Corey? Susan, hello. Awesome. Okay, good. Sounds like my audio is okay. That's good because I am going to be heartbroken if I lost my second set of very expensive microphones. But I don't know what I could have possibly done with them, so that may just be the case, unfortunately. Yeah, first of all, an apology for my mastermind members for missing Tuesday's call, having to cancel Tuesday's call. I had every intention of doing it. I had flown up to Napa for a friend's birthday, and I had no idea a place even existed like this in Napa, but we were so remote. We were 35 minutes back on this windy mountain road. I'm talking as windy and as steep. I'm talking so windy, so steep that just the day before we got there, it was closed in 2 places because of landslides. So this is how windy and steep this mountain road was. 35 minutes in the back of this mountain in Napa to this place that we were staying at, this big home that my friend had rented for his birthday to throw a big party at. And it was so far back there. We had almost no internet, had very, very little internet. Certainly not enough to do a call like this and have it be in any way okay. So my apologies for the Tuesday last minute reschedule there. That was not anticipated in any way. And I guess it just is what it is, right? We are I'm very well set up to be nomadic in my work, but not perfectly, obviously. So like I said, I guess that is what it is. So thank you for your patience. But because of that, today I do want to start this call with what I had planned on discussing on Tuesday's training call with my mastermind members. Okay, so for those of you who are not in my mastermind, you will get a little sampling of the type of thing that we're going to go over. And then I promise that we will get to our normal office hours Q&A, and I'll stick around and answer as many questions as I possibly can. I think that this will be good for anybody. Doesn't matter who you are. I think that you get value out of this. So what I planned on covering on Tuesday was just the process that I typically go through and recommend that people go through as we head into a new quarter. Okay. So I have what I refer to as my growth operating system. My growth operating system is a set of frameworks, tools, what I call power questions, things like that I have developed over the years, borrowed from other places over the years, right? With all the studying that I've done in getting my MBA and studying with Jack Stack, studying with Gazelles, EO, all these fantastic organizations that are designed to help people build businesses and be effective as entrepreneurs. And particularly in those first couple of businesses that I was building, where it was just super, super rapid growth. We had lots of people that we were hiring. So we had lots of crazy cash flow issues, all that type of stuff. Having a specific set of tools that I use to manage my growth and to manage my team in managing that growth became absolutely critical so that the wheels didn't just fall off the cart. Okay. And these tools are the tools that I now I carry with me in anything that I do as an entrepreneur, and also honestly, very, very similar in my personal life as well when I am trying to get a specific result. Okay. And so, one of my most commonly shared tools that I tell everybody that you absolutely have to have is a daily scorecard, right? So just a simple scorecard where you're tracking your most important metrics every day. So your most important metric could be something like how many sales calls you're committed to making today. Did you get new pieces of content published on all the social platforms? That could be your most important metric. There's all kinds of things depending on what your goals are. I take that exact same approach to my personal life. So when it's tracking my fitness, I've got the Oura Ring because I track how much sleep I get and I track my steps on my Oura Ring. I have a scale that measures my weight and my body fat, and I track all of my metrics in terms of what I'm eating, in terms of macros, protein, carbs, fat, stuff like that. Because those are all metrics that I then feed into this spreadsheet so I know, am I making progress towards my goals or not? It works the same way in all areas of your life, okay? So hopefully those concepts are not foreign to you, but what I do want to share again is just a specific approach, if nothing else, to give you a little bit of a kick in the pants here as we are entering a new quarter, to make sure that you are taking the time to be thoughtful about your goal reviews and your goal setting here going into this next quarter, and that you've got some systems and mechanisms to help you execute and actually accomplish those goals. So it's not just, flying by the seat of your pants type of thing. Okay. So awesome. So let me just share my screen here real quick and just show you real quick. So this is inside of Moguls. So Moguls is the name of my mastermind program. And I know some of you, when you hear the word mastermind, you probably think of those like $25,000 or $50,000 things. This is not in any way that. It is a fraction of that price because I want to make it affordable and available to everybody. This is inside of the new membership area that we just built in HighLevel. And for those of you who are wondering, hey, Mike, I'm in Moguls and I don't know that I have access to this, you'll get access to it this afternoon. I'm going to roll it out to you this afternoon. But Moguls is specifically about how do you achieve growth. Okay, that's what the mastermind is about. So how do we achieve growth? How do we surround ourselves with people who are also trying to achieve growth, learn from each other, give each other accountability, things like that. So what is not in this program is like my leverage selling system, which is exactly how to set up your sales and marketing system. That's a separate program. That's sales and marketing. This is about growth. And growth, one of the things that I have realized over the years is that you achieve growth by obsessing about growth, by committing to growth. And yes, in business, that typically means committing to sales and marketing, but it also means committing to having a unique strategy, a differentiated strategy in the marketplace. It can mean having the right financing, all those things. But the first thing that has to happen, like anything in human behavior, is we've got to make this decision that that's our target and we're committed to it. And so this is all of the, again, frameworks and tools and things like that I found over the years that I think best support you in achieving your growth. Okay. And what I want to talk about specifically today is, first of all, this management and accountability rhythm. Okay. A rhythm of learning and a rhythm of communication is critical when you're trying to grow fast. The faster that you want to grow, the faster that you need to learn, and the faster that you need to communicate that learning to other people on your team, or translate that into changes that you're making at your business. If your learning cycles are, slow and far apart, well, then you're going to lose to somebody whose learning cycles are fast, and therefore the execution gets done more quickly, right? So this management and accountability rhythm, part of that is just simply just having meetings. And most people think, oh my gosh, meetings, suck. Meetings don't have to suck. It's just that they do in most cases, because the types of meetings that we're having are not really useful and effective and get all bogged down in politics and all that type of stuff. But these meetings are incredibly important. They create the foundation of your management rhythm. And some of you, many of you, are probably solo operators, right? You're like, Mike, like, who do I need to have a meeting with, man? Like, it's just me, right? Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that, man. So if you're thinking, hey, Mike, it's just me, do I need to have a meeting with myself? I would tell you the answer is yes. Okay, create your own mental board of advisors, if you will, and slow down long enough to reflect and try and do your best to step back out of your business, out of the hustle of the day-to-day. Try and step back, even just for an hour, and look at what you're doing objectively and try and think, hey, if I was looking at my really good friend who was trying to start a business and I'm observing his past 3 months behavior, I'm observing what he said his goals are, and do his actions line up with actually achieving those goals? Try to look at yourself from that perspective and give yourself that feedback. Because if you did have some sort of board of advisors or something to meet with, that's what you would want them to do, right? You would want, if you were paying me to be on your board of advisors, you would want me to look at what you're doing and objectively go, hey, look, Sean, you told me you're trying to go here, and you said that these are the actions that you think are necessary to get there, but then I'm looking at how you're spending your time on a daily basis and what the company is doing, and those things aren't in alignment. And so we've got to get those things in alignment, right? So try and give yourself the benefit of doing that and having that meeting with yourself and that conversation, okay? So in doing that right now, again, we're about to start a new quarter, okay? A new quarter is a nice opportunity to slow down and do a little bit more. And I put 4 to 8 hours. I mean, to me, this is an afternoon at a coffee shop, and maybe it doesn't take 4 hours. Maybe it takes 2 hours, okay? When I had a bigger team, then it was more like a full day thing. We would take a day off site and we would say, okay, everybody, bring all your reports, bring your goals, all that type of stuff. And then let's look at how we did over the last quarter and talk about our plan for the next quarter. Okay. It should not be anything that's much longer than that, because this isn't something that you should get bogged down in, like completely changing your strategy or something like that. Typically it's more just like, hey, what do I need to do to execute better? What are the things that might be preventing me from executing? So what I would recommend that everybody does, and again, if you don't have your own approach to this, just follow mine. Just humor me and follow mine, okay? And just ask yourself these simple questions as a review. What wins did I have last quarter, or we have, if you have a team? What did we learn from this last quarter? Okay, and again, why are we doing this at a quarter? Because we all had some sort of New Year's resolutions or something like that. Let me see if I can zoom in on this a little bit. We all had some sort of New Year's resolutions or something. We've had 3 months now. Okay, we're 3 months into it. If you haven't made some sort of progress on what you said were these exciting goals and New Year resolutions, well, then it's time to give yourself a kick in the butt, right? That's a quarter of the year that went by. So what did we learn? And there could be all kinds of things that you learn. There should be all kinds of things that you learned, right? Some assumptions maybe you made that were not good assumptions. Maybe some targets that you set that it turns out, you said, I'm going to make 300 cold calls a day. But it turns out, you know what? My kid is done with school at 2 and I don't have daycare. And so it turns out 300 calls is probably not realistic. And maybe it's more like 200 calls or 150 calls. So there are certain things that we probably may have just gotten wrong in the last quarter in terms of how we were thinking and planning. So now this is an opportunity to adjust our plan. And if you have been keeping a daily scorecard, this is a fantastic opportunity to look at what your scorecard tells you, because that's going to give you some objective feedback instead of just the emotions of being an entrepreneur. And one thing I have learned about being an entrepreneur, and one thing I've learned about all of you as entrepreneurs, is it can be a very emotional thing. And those emotions can drive behavior, good and bad, right? Because entrepreneurship, I think what's the right way of saying it? I think for better or worse, entrepreneurship can get very, very closely tied to identity, right? When you say, I got a job at XYZ company and they pay me X dollars a year and stuff like that, it's not so much about identity, right? It's, I got a job, maybe tomorrow I'll get a different job. Versus when you make that decision to become an entrepreneur, there is oftentimes really this tie to your identity. I mean, I know there is for me, that I think of myself, whether you put the word entrepreneur on it or not, I think of myself as somebody who is setting my own direction, making my own path in the world, that I have the accountability to do that, that I have the strength and flexibility to do that when things don't go well, and the resiliency to do that, that I am self-driven. So I don't need somebody to tell me to get to work. And that I have the skills and or I'm committed to learning the skills to be able to thrive, given that that's who I am in the world. That's a lot of personal stuff. And so when you take that on and you have a terrible 2 months where it seems like the world is falling apart and nothing is going right, that can really be emotional, right? And so having a scorecard that you can look at that can help you tell you, I mean, maybe you think things are going great and you look at your scorecard and it tells you something different and you need a kick in the pants, right? Having a scorecard that can give you data saying, hey, Mike, you're actually making progress, when at times it feels like you're not making progress. That data can be very important, okay? And then transitioning to, what are your targets? All right, we did some learning, we did some reflection of the last quarter. Now, what are our targets for the new quarter? Okay, so given what we learned and given what our goals were for the year, what are we going to do in this next quarter to make sure we're achieving as much as we can and that we're on track? And then just asking the questions about, okay, if that's my target, what are the key actions or activities that I need to take every day to get there? Right? And so that could be, hey, I'm committed to making a new YouTube video every single day. I'm committed to making cold calls, sending cold emails, doing whatever it is, speaking, giving webinars, whatever it is, the activity that's going to drive growth for you. And it's for most of us, and that's where I'm going to go with this conversation today, is that most of you, it's sales and marketing activity. Most of us are early stage entrepreneurs. I would say the far majority of you are probably sub 7 figures, so sub $1 million in revenue. But even if you're sub, let's say, 5 million, $7 million in revenue, the answer is almost always the same as to what you need to do to grow, which is sales and marketing activity. You probably simply do not have enough people who know who you are. You're not making your pitch to enough people. And when I say making your pitch, that doesn't have to mean a one-on-one sales conversation. It could be, I'm making my pitch via calls like this. I'm making my pitch via YouTube videos, whatever it is, social media content. But it's simply that you're operating in too much obscurity for somebody to know who you are, to ultimately buy from you. If you want 2 people to buy from you today, you probably need hundreds that are out there that are at least in some sort of consideration stage where they know who you are and they're going, yeah, I think that might be the group that we want to work with. Not sure when we're going to do it. Not sure exactly what, the price is right and all that type of stuff, but you need to have that pipeline. And so you have to be just out there getting visible. Okay. So your North Star metric right here, your North Star metric is the most important metric that you're going to use as your thing that you're driving towards to know that you're on track or not. Right. And so there's all kinds of things that we know that we should do, but we've got to make a decision and say, yeah, but the most important thing strategically for my business today is posting YouTube videos, because sales and marketing is my most important thing. I've decided that YouTube videos is the #1 channel for me. So it's creating YouTube videos, right? So how many YouTube videos? How often are you going to publish those YouTube videos, right? That would be your North Star metric. Okay. So the rest of this kind of just cascades down from there, which is, just kind of some common sense stuff about like, hey, is there anything, if you said that YouTube is your most important thing, do you have the YouTube training that you need? Is there time scheduled on your calendar to make sure that you're actually going to do the thing, right? So some just kind of more typical productivity stuff, right? Again, whatever kind of approach you follow to productivity and stuff like that, that's good on you. I'm not going to tell you exactly how you need to do that stuff. I think that's all very personal, but I do think that everybody going into the new quarter here, we should take the pause to ask these questions and make sure that you've gotten clear on what did I learn from the last 3 months? What do I need to change going into the next 3 months? How am I going to measure those things? And do I have an execution plan, productivity, time on my calendar to make sure that I get this stuff done? Okay. So that's installing the management rhythm. That's the quarterly rhythm of that. Now, a couple of other tools that I want to share with you here real quick, just because I do think that that there are some universals again in our group as to how we achieve our goals. That these tools here can be super helpful for you. One is this saying right here: you can't manage what you can't measure, right? If you don't have a daily scorecard that you are putting your most important numbers into and tracking every single day, I'm telling you that you are costing yourself your goals. You just are. So I'm going to go ahead and give you this scorecard example. I'll just go ahead and post a link to it in the group, in the comments here on this chat, so you guys can get your hands on that. And this is just a stupid, simple daily scorecard example. But I suggest that you keep it stupid simple, because it is the way that I've done it for 20 years that allows me to actually keep on track with it. Every time I try and get more sophisticated about it, it falls apart. Okay. It just becomes, you don't need to see that. It just becomes more challenging, but that link is in the comments. But if you try and get overly sophisticated, like I've invested in all the expensive dashboards and all that type of stuff, it just becomes a pain in the neck. And I just don't get it done. So this is like super simple. So if I said that new leads was the most important thing, like new leads, how many leads am I adding to my list, right? How many new people am I adding to my list every day? Like that's the most important thing. Then that's your North Star. So I would just make sure that you were tracking that very, very visibly, so that every single day you can't be confused about it. It's like, okay, I'm getting it done or I'm not, right? And then here's the dirty dozen. This is where I track, like, what are my, again, I aim for a dozen. That's why I call it the dirty dozen, but I just aim for like the 10 to 12 most important metrics then that really like impact, am I on track or not with my goals? And I will track this every single day. And so these, I'm not saying that these need to be your numbers. I'm saying that you should go through and define what your number should be based on your goals, based on your business, and then track them every single day. And if you ask, Mike, do you really do this every single day? I am not shitting you when I tell you that I have had a daily scorecard running, with the exception of the couple of times that I've taken brief breaks as an entrepreneur, which they've been very brief. I have had a daily scorecard running every single stinking day. That's how important I believe this is. Okay. So I would absolutely encourage you to do the same. So take that scorecard template, make your own, do whatever you want with it. Okay. And then, since I said that for almost all of you, it is the sales and marketing activities that you are just not getting enough done of. What I would share here is these are my social media growth maps, and MAPS stands for marketing action plans, and massive action plans, whichever one you prefer, or a combination of the two. But the idea behind these is to give you the super concise version of here's how you grow on this particular social media platform, given the best practices that are out there today. Okay. And intentionally very short and sweet here, because I don't want to bog you down in, oh, I've got to go take a bazillion hour course to go learn how to be a social media guru. You don't need to be a social media guru to get thousands of subscribers or tens of thousands of subscribers or followers or fans or whatever it is on a social channel. It primarily is just you need to take action, and the action needs to have some strategic focus given the platform. You know, but you don't need to be a guru. Okay. So going to share that link in the, oh, awesome, Corey. I love it. The great minds think alike. Corey says, we also use acronym maps for master action plans. I love it. Cool. So I just shared with you that document. Again, the point of that document is if you are not currently posting on social media every day and sharing content on social media every day, I believe that you are missing the biggest opportunity for sales and marketing growth that's out there. Yes, you can do cold calling. Yes, you can do cold emailing. Go for it if you want to do those things too, because it doesn't take that long to post on social media. But today's world is driven by content on social media. And so if you are not consistently just getting content out there, you're missing the boat. So this is just to help you to get something going. And I would tell you to take the next 3 months and I'm just going to do whatever it says right here. I'm just going to do these things for the next 3 months. I'm not going to argue with Mike. I'm not going to, 3 months from now, if you've done that every day for the next 3 months, you will have learned a bunch. And then you can say, Mike, I think you're just behind on all this stuff. This is not quite good enough yet, or current or good enough for what I'm trying to do now. Good. Then go invest in your awesome Instagram course that tells you how to do it at the nth detail. Okay. So then the last thing that I would share with you back inside of Moguls is to just have, and I'm not going to share all these links, but I'll just show you, and you guys can just create your own version pretty darn easily. But just these visual scorecards. Okay. So if you say that what you need to do, that your activities, your growth marketing activities, if your growth marketing activities are to, hold on while it's pulling up here. There we go. Is to create, one blog post every week and share it on social media. Well, that's 4 blog posts a month. And so here's just a nice visual scorecard to hang up on the wall in front of you. And every time you post your blog post, you put a red X through it with a marker. So it's sitting right in front of you next to your workspace every single day, staring you in the face. This is the Seinfeld technique, because this is what Seinfeld did with writing jokes. He put a calendar up on his wall and said, I'm going to put a red X every single day that I write jokes so that I know that I'm committing to my practice of becoming the best comedian, right? It takes writing jokes if you want to be the best comedian. So same with us. If we want to be entrepreneurs, it takes investing in growth activities. Sales and marketing is a growth activity, right? So sending out a newsletter once a week, X amount. And then I'm just showing this to give you examples. Maybe you say you want to do 1 video a month, 1 webinar a month, 1 podcast episode a month, and then 1 live presentation a month. Again, customize a version of this however you want to do it. It could be that you want to do 4 videos a month. So this would be video, and no live presentations or podcasts. Or you may want to do both. Whatever you want to do, whatever you have the ambition and the energy for, awesome. And then SP, this is 30 days of SPs. You may guess that's social posts. So 30 days of social posting, making sure that you're posting on social media every single day, getting that content out there and connecting with the community. Okay. So this is then kind of closing the loop on, I made these plans for the quarter. I set these goals. I decided what the activities are that are necessary. And now I am loading those activities onto this visual scorecard so I can put it up on the wall next to me and X out, X out, X out as I go. Take the data from that and feed it into my daily scorecard so I can see the results, so I can learn what's working and what's not, so I can change my plan come the next quarter. That is a brief version of the growth operating system. It is something that every single one of us if you want to grow, you want to grow consistently, you want to grow quickly, you want to make those learning loops happen as quickly as possible, you've got to have a system like that. Okay. And if you are running a business without a system like that, you're not really running a business, you're winging it. And you can get results winging it. But if you want to get really good results and you want to build a real asset that ultimately creates wealth for you and one day you could sell, you need to run it like a business. And that's how you run it like a business. It's a nice simplified version of how you run it like a business. Okay. But I got to tell you, it works. The simplest systems work the best because they're actually able to be followed. Again, I've run multiple multi-7-figure super fast growth businesses using those tools. They keep alignment for you. They keep alignment for your team. And actually, one of the things I was super encouraged by with those tools is that I remember seeing a behind the scenes interview of the CEO of Ford when he was turning around Ford, because Ford had finally gone down, into a spot where it was like a turnaround situation. And they brought in the CEO to turn it around, and he did an excellent job with him. And I was like, man, they're going to show behind the scenes of what it's like to run Ford. I can't wait. Like, I'm just going to be blown away by these big boardrooms and all this sophisticated stuff and everything, right? And they showed this guy, the CEO's routine, and the CEO had an office that was barely bigger than a closet. That was his war room. And in his war room, he had his scorecards and visual trackers just hanging up on the wall for the major departments. And what he would do is he would bring the heads of the major departments through, and he would say, right now your scorecard says you're low on this metric, high on that metric. What are your goals to get on track? Let me hear them. Okay, what are the actions you're taking? How are you tracking it? Awesome. See you next month. I mean, that was how he was running Ford, which makes sense because, as the CEO of Ford, you can only do so much. I mean, you've got to have simple communication, effective communication that just gets people on track and gets them moving, right? So don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it, but also don't neglect it. You've got to actually put some time on your calendar to go through this process. It will pay off. Okay. It will pay off. All right. See, we've been so spoiled by great strategic partners since super hot leads that haven't dedicated real effort to social, but it's a great reminder. Yeah. You don't ever want to be too committed and too reliant on that one partner, right? It hurts, but truthfully wing it. Absolutely. Sean says war room. Love it. Absolutely. Okay. So that is a very brief version of what we would be doing over in our mastermind calls. So again, to my mastermind crew, I apologize for missing Tuesday, but like I said, I ended up being in a very remote place with internet that was terrible, so it was not going to work. It was going to be painful for everybody. So that being said, we now return to our regularly scheduled office hours agenda, which means no agenda. That means that I'm here to answer questions. So any questions that you have, please go ahead and type them in. If there's something I can do for you, I would love to. And also, I am going to share a link here for anybody who wants to actually come on screen and have a conversation. Then you can use that link. It will bring you on camera and on microphone so we can chat, okay? And I would say if you have a simple question, you can type it in. If you have a question where it's like, yeah, we need to talk to understand it or whatever to get the context of it, then if you can come on onto camera, then that would be best, okay? May I have you review my website? Absolutely. Send me your website and I will be happy to review it. Certainly. Just punch it on in there. Mike says, do you use HL Pro Tools? And if so, do I like it? I do not use HL Pro Tools myself personally. But I think that thank you. I will fix it. I will fix it. I do not personally use it, but I have heard plenty of good things about it. And I think that they have a very large percentage of the HighLevel user base using them. So I think that they are probably your top 1 or 2 option on getting some like outsourced support and outsourced training and things like that. So I do not hesitate to say that they are absolutely worth at least, looking into in more detail and maybe giving a trial run, that type of thing. Can you go over the Facebook ad strategy you use that you mentioned before regarding advertising broad first? Do you have a specific video dedicated to this? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so what I believe you could be referring to one of two things. So specifically, the way that I advocate using Facebook ads, particularly locally, okay? So my Facebook ad approach, I call the attention engine. And the attention engine isn't really just Facebook ads, so I should clarify that. But my ad strategy falls within that overall attention engine, which is, as the name describes, how do you get an engine of attention for your business? One of the best, most obvious ways for most people these days is to use Facebook ads. Facebook ads, though, can be complicated. They can have all kinds of, all kinds of decisions to make that can overwhelm. And so what I recommend for local in particular is that you just advertise broadly at first and let your ad and Facebook do the work of finding your audience. Okay. So in other words, if I was targeting real estate agents, instead of going through and choosing to target real estate agents in Facebook, using the selections to target them, what I would do is I would just write an ad that says real estate agents, attention real estate agents. Do you need these things, yada, yada, right? So that the ad theoretically should only be responded to by somebody who's a real estate agent, okay? So the reason why I suggest that you do that and then let Facebook find the audience for you based on who's clicking on that ad is because choosing specific audiences to target in Facebook is usually so much more expensive that when you work the math out, the expense of choosing that targeting is more costly than the expense of being broad and untargeted and having to invest for a little while to let Facebook find the right audience. Okay. So in the first scenario that I described, I said, I'm not going to do any targeting. That your CPM, your cost per thousand, when you advertise that broad on Facebook, let's call it $5 per thousand. Okay. In San Diego. If I chose to target real estate agents specifically on Facebook, and I don't know this metric because I don't target real estate agents, but my guess it could easily be $75 per thousand, and I've seen audiences as much as over, $130 per thousand, right? So it can go way, 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 way up to get that targeting for a number of different reasons. So in my first scenario, because I'm targeting broadly at first, I'm going to have some waste. I'm going to be targeting people that aren't real estate agents. But because of the Facebook algorithm, when Facebook sees the people who are clicking on the ads, the algorithm is going to say, oh, show it to more people like that. And so it's going to start collecting up the best audience. Okay. So that is my experience. That is my approach. I will tell you that the only universal truth of running ads on any of these platforms is to test. So feel free to please prove me wrong, split test that, target the exact same ads to real estate agents and see how you do. And if I'm wrong, awesome. You prove me wrong and now you have the right way to do it. But that's the way that I do it, okay? The other thing that I think could be related to your question and could be helpful to you is what I call the prime the pump strategy. So the prime the pump strategy, what the origination of that, and this can apply in a variety of different ways, but the origination of that is, let's say that I know that I want to go after agencies, like with services that scale. This is exactly how I built up my audience and services that scale, okay? If I know that I want to go after agencies, but I look at the targeting options in Facebook and they seem not that great, or they're really expensive, or whatever it is, Instead, what I will do is the first thing is I will put together a good piece of content that should be attractive to agencies. Hopefully gets a great deal of engagement. So this is like usually like a longer form blog post or something like that, where I'm really trying to make a point. Maybe it's a little bit of a controversial point, something like that, something that should get good engagement from that audience. And then I will promote that, even though it doesn't have a sales goal to it. It doesn't necessarily have like a direct response target to it. Really what I want is engagement. I want people who are agencies to click on that blog post and read it so that I can build up my retargeting audience. So I will just invest money, usually not that much money, like on a daily basis, not a huge amount of money. And I will just let that article though run for a long time. I'll put it out there. I mean, that the main blog post that I wrote to promote services that scale, I ran the exact same campaign for that article for like a year. I just let it just run $20 a day or whatever it was, just for a year. But then what that did was that built up a retargeting audience of agencies that then I could circulate more direct response content to and have my own audience to like go after more aggressively with conversion focused stuff. Okay. That's a part of that strategy as well. And again, all of that is in the attention engine. If you are in any of my programs, any of my like more major programs, you have access to that training. So if you're in the high leverage agency program, if you're in R4, if you're in leverage selling, if you're in MSP Academy, all of those, you have access to that program. Okay. Corey, Brad, and Kyle, I'm about to bring you guys on camera. Is that cool? Awesome. And we're going to go in that order. Corey, Brad, then Kyle in terms of questions, because that's the order you guys came in on. So Corey, my man, how are you?
Awesome. What's up? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah, appreciate it. I just wanted to say real quick, Mike, I appreciate your down-to-earthness, bro. I've been in the marketing world for a while, and it's refreshing to have, someone I can learn from who's not just a hype monster. So
thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And thanks for being here.
Yeah. So I got a couple of questions. I don't want to take too much time, but I signed on to HighLevel through you once I started finding your content. I was looking for a new system. I've been doing a website design for clients for a while, WordPress stuff, tying together a bunch of tools. And I love how everything is just under one roof with HighLevel.
Yeah.
It makes everything seem like it's going to be a much more efficient business model and process.
Sure.
But while learning the tool, I have a couple of questions. One was in regards to the LMS. I mean, I see that you rebuilt Moguls. Excited to dive into that. Just wondering, how you like that versus Teachable and some of the other systems that are out there.
Yeah. I think that they've done a nice job with it. I think it has its pros and cons, just like any of the systems do, but I don't feel like it has any con for me. I think that if you're putting out a relatively simple course, and you want to use that LMS, I think it's absolutely fine at this point.
Can it do like quizzes and all that stuff?
I don't even know if you can do quizzes and stuff like that, to be honest with you. I know that you can do, actually, hold on, let me say that. Yes, you can do like, I don't think they call them quizzes. Maybe they do, but yes, you can do some basic versions of that type of stuff. To me, the thing that sets it apart and the reason why I moved into it is, again, the integration. Because it's in HighLevel, that means we can tie together all of our marketing, all of our building, billing, all of that stuff into it without having to do Zapier and all the back and forth. So you can accomplish those things for sure. So like I've been on Teachable forever, and I can use Zapier in between, as Thrivecart, Zapier to HighLevel. Those three things. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff in there that can go wrong. But also there was just limitations to it as to what I could do with taking advantage of the full capabilities of HighLevel's automation systems. So the ROI of simplicity and the ROI of that integration to me just makes tons and tons of sense. And like I said, I don't have any like ultra sophisticated feature that I'm looking for from my LMS that would prohibit me from just saying, okay, let's just go the easy route,
Okay.
I know that there are some systems out there that it's like, we're going to have all these multivariate, depending on what you've done, we're going to go this way and that way and all that. I'm just not there with that. And I'm not looking to go there. So.
Yeah. Okay. Appreciate it. Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to diving in because I'm using another tool that, has its own cost, of course. And it'd be nice to get rid of that.
Yeah.
And then
And
I
I
had a
would say
question.
just to add on to this before we go on real quick,
Yeah.
just for the benefit of others, if you do not yet have a course of any kind or any sort of membership area or whatever for your customers, if you're an agency and you're using HighLevel and you're thinking about building something, just start in HighLevel. I mean, if you find a reason to go outside of HighLevel, you'll find it eventually and you can go outside of HighLevel. Don't go looking for a reason. Don't go overcomplicating it. Just create your first version in HighLevel, and then if you need to move on later, you can move on later.
Awesome. This is a little bit more technical, I guess, maybe, but I had a question about like unsubscribe links and emails. Is there a way to basically allow people to unsubscribe from like a smart list, but not from your total list? Or like, for instance, if you have students that are on your list, but you want them to get important communications from, the class or whatever, but if they unsubscribe from like, let's say a newsletter or promotion, would that take them out of the entire list, or how does that work?
Well, so it wouldn't be an unsubscribe, although I mean, you could position it as an unsubscribe if that's like the easy way for people to understand it. But it depends on how you create that smart list. So, like as an example, when I create my smart list, I do that by tags. So if what I could do is just build a mechanism in place where it just removes the tag that incorporates you in that smart list. So if I said everybody that has the tag purchase : moguls gets put into the moguls smart list, then when you cancel moguls, I'm going to get rid of that purchase moguls tag and you'll be pulled out of that smart list. So there's all kinds of ways that you could do that, right? I mean, like as that example, if somebody canceled their purchase, then or refunded their purchase or anything like that, and you could remove that tag. Or you could have an email that goes out that says, or in the footer of your email, say, hey, if you no longer want to get moguls emails, hit this link. It's not an unsubscribe link. Technically, it's not taking you out of the email system, but then you could just work a workflow, make that a trigger link that just works in automation that just says, hey, if somebody clicks on this trigger link, remove the moguls tag so that they're no longer in that smart list.
So you don't necessarily have to use like the custom value or whatever of the unsubscribe link in your email.
Not for what you're
right.
referring to here. No.
Okay. Just want to remove that's my concern, because it's like I guess I don't know if it's by law, but like you're supposed to have that unsubscribe link in there, right? So I don't want to not have that.
Yeah, no. To make sure we're being clear here, yes, you have to have the unsubscribe link in the bottom, like the very bottom footer of your email thing.
Right.
You have to have, if it's a marketing email, a broadcast email, then by law you're supposed to have the unsubscribe link down there. If it's a one-on-one email, so I'm just sending you an email, it does not technically have to have the unsubscribe in it. But then what you asked about originally was, hey, I've got somebody on my master list, but I also have them in 3 smart lists based on particular topics they want to hear about or products they purchased. And I would like to give them the ability to not be in those smart lists anymore, but still be in my overall database of people that I can email. Then you would want to give them a link that you create that triggers an automation versus the unsubscribe that will always be there at the bottom.
Got it.
Makes sense? That makes sense. Two different goals of those things.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes total sense. And then real quick, with SaaS mode, so I have like the pro account right now, but I haven't upgraded to SaaS mode yet. So I'm still just trying to figure this whole thing out. I've onboarded a couple of clients into Go HighLevel to really test the process, and I'm manually processing their payment, manually creating the sub account, setting everything up. Once I figure this out and get, the SOPs in place, would SaaS mode basically automate that process from purchase to everything else? And you could upload a snapshot and everything based on what they buy?
Yep. And so let me say a couple of things. The first answer is yes. it would do all that. The second answer is that doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to be 100% out of the process of setting somebody up. You still may want to maintain some of that ownership of setting all that up, just to make the best client experience, like depending on how involved that setup is, and then to me, the most important other feature though that you didn't mention, so I just feel like it has to be mentioned, is it's the automatic rebilling and upselling of minutes, email, and stuff like that on SMS and email and phone calls. So
Yeah.
without that, you're in a real hornet's nest of billing issues that you don't want to be in. So as soon as you say, I want to sell people SMS, email, stuff like that through my services, I think you want to be on pro. I think it's crazy not to be on pro. Like you'll lose your you'll lose your margin quickly, or lose every hour of your day trying to audit how much somebody's used and rebill it properly and all that type of stuff. It just doesn't make any sense. So once you're at that point, just get on pro and focus on going and getting some more customers.
Yeah, for sure. I was thinking about that, from that point of view as well, because, to be honest, our clients are pretty much like getting started in business, right? And I'm thinking also the business model that we go after, the niche is they're pretty much one-to-one. Like they're not scaling businesses. These are service providers that, they do it, one-to-one client type of thing.
Right.
And I don't see them really sending a ton of emails or SMS through their marketing, no matter how much their marketing grows. So I don't know that that's actually an issue for me, but obviously some of the automation pieces and everything else could be beneficial.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. One last question, man. I won't take up too much more time, but, and this is maybe I'm just overlooking something, but I was thinking, if we have a client that comes on and they have their own CRM that they want to maintain, but they want us to build like their funnels, what's the best way to transfer the leads to their CRM? Is it the premium action, the webhooks? Or?
Yeah, that it could be the Zapier-like capabilities that HighLevel is built in. So it could be the webhooks, or it could be literally like using Zapier. I mean, it could be kind of any of those. But I would start with their new built-in Zapier-like capability, because that will probably solve whatever it is that you're looking for.
Okay. Awesome, brother. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you for being here.
For sure.
Awesome. Brad, how can I help you, sir?
Good, man. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, first, definitely second what Corey was saying. Thank you for, it's very refreshing for you jumping on every week and being so down to earth. So
thanks,
very
man.
much appreciate the help. My question was kind of geared towards setting up affiliate deals with clients and what to look for so that you didn't like shoot yourself in the foot down the road. So like a basic example, I have this client out in actually San Diego. They're a mortgage client. They're not the typical client of like a basic, boring mortgage broker. They're the very artsy kind of guys. They like the small details, and they're helping me kind of reformat the product to be very geared towards. They have some good close relationships high up in different banks and different mortgage softwares that could really be beneficial. But just telling them and saying, okay, we have this affiliate deal, and currently how I have it set up is like 15% recurring commissions up to 12 months, basically. They want to feel a little bit more of like a special snowflake in that case, right? They want to feel a little bit more than, just 15% and this and that. So I want to know like before I dive too deep and, like I said, shoot myself in the foot, what is a good affiliate deal to look for and to kind of, this is where I'm cutting off and I'm not doing any more than this. This is my business. This is not a partnership, no equity, things like that. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah. So, and just to make sure I understand the scenario here real quick. So you are working with them, their mortgage business, you're working with them. They are helping you define your offer that you're putting together for other mortgage businesses.
Kind of putting a facelift on it, a new face to it, a little updated look, things like that. And then they're going to help promote it.
Because you're using our special sauce and knowledge here, that we want a percentage of that when you go out and sell it.
For the deals that they help get. Yeah, for sure. I mean, they know it's my business and they know I'm going to still acquire other customers, but
yeah. And so then are these services like the services that you're planning on offering, is this like purely just like access to a digital thing and there's like no labor involved, and so the margins are like 95%? Or is this like it's an agency service and so the margins
It's not
are more?
it's mostly snapshot. So yeah, probably pretty high margins. I mean, it's going to be very scalable, and yes.
Yeah. Okay. So if it's mostly a digital offer like that, then it is not at all atypical that that's like a 50-50 split or a 60-40 split, something like that. That is not at all atypical in the industry, because everybody knows that your margins are, essentially, I mean, they're as close to 100% as they can be. So it's like, just give me my fair share. So I would say most affiliate programs that I've ever been involved in where it's a digital product of any sort, it's like 50-50. So that's typical. If it is anything else other than like a digital 100% pure margin thing, you really just need to look at it as, what is the cost of sales and marketing that I would have spent if they're bringing that customer to me, which is what most affiliate relationships, that's the way it works, right? You bring me a customer, I'll pay you X money. So it's purely just based on that performance. So if they were to bring you customers and your sales and marketing engine would require you to spend typically 25% of your revenue to acquire a customer, well, then a 25% commission would be much more realistic. And anything above 25%, you would need to be making that decision as a business owner, knowing that you're going, okay, I'm over investing in this, but there may be a good reason for you to over invest in that. That allows you to acquire market share faster, build up your brand before your competition does, lock these guys in away from the competition so they don't take this stuff and give it to somebody else. So you could have some other strategic reason for doing it. I just think that you have to evaluate it based on, okay, if I was just going out and acquiring customers, here's how much I would spend. These guys want more than that. So does that investment make sense to me?
And you're comfortable with that being like a recurring thing? So say it was like a 60-40 split, or would you personally be comfortable as a recurring, not even cutting it off after 12 months or something like that?
The answer is yes. Again, what I would do is I would look at this. I would just look at this to understand what are the incentives of everybody involved. Okay. So as an example, there are lots of people who come to me with affiliate programs where I'm just like, your affiliate program makes 0 sense at all. And they get kind of offended by it. And they're like, oh man, you're not valuing my product enough. And I'm like, it's not that I don't value your product. It's that you're not understanding my cost of sales and marketing. And so if you give me a one-time commission of X dollars, that does not move the needle for me in any way whatsoever. It would have to be recurring in order for it to make sense to me economically. So like you gotta think through it that way and understand what are their economics and what are their incentives, so that you can determine, does it need to be recurring or not? If you were selling a one-time thing for $10,000 and you're giving them $5,000 and they had, not too huge of a sales and marketing investment, then that $5,000 should be enough. If you're giving them $47 and they're only bringing you, even with all their hustle and stuff, it's only going to be, 10 new customers a month. Well, 47 times 10 is $470. It sounds like these guys already have a successful mortgage business. They're like, oh, great. That's one lunch out with us and a couple of our customers.
Right.
So, it probably needs to be something recurring for them to
make it worth their while. Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, they're never going to think to promote you. So all of this that you're talking about is for naught, because they're just going to, whatever. It's not moving the needle in any way. Why should I spend any time on it?
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I just want to make sure I wasn't getting married or shooting myself in the foot, something like that.
Well, and so that second part of it, I think, is a really, really, really important part of the conversation that not enough people think through. So in business, I almost never use the word partnership, ever. because I think the word partner has like some emotional connotation to it to most people.
Yeah.
Where it's like, my partner is like my soulmate that I'm getting married to or whatever. I'm living the rest of my life with. And so when that gets brought into business, people get their heads screwy.
Yes.
And they start thinking, after a year, if the deal doesn't work out and you want out of the deal, they start going, oh, I'm getting all ramped up about this. And I'm going to sue you and I'm going to do all this type of stuff. Whereas the way I've always done this, and this has always kept things clean, is, in a business, you are either a lender, a shareholder, an employee. You can be multiples of those things. You can be an employee and a shareholder. You can be an employee and a lender. I mean, you can do, but those are all just business transactions. And so you could be a shareholder of my business and an employee. I can fire you as an employee if your performance is no longer up to snuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can still be a shareholder. Those are two independent things, right? And so just because you have shares doesn't mean you have a right to employment for the rest of your life now. Like, because a lot of people, that's the way they start thinking. It's like, oh, I'm in a partnership. Like I'm locked into this thing. It's not locked, it's business. Right. I mean, if your performance stinks and I give you the reviews and the feedback and tell you, hey man, your performance stinks, and you think because you're a shareholder, you can just go hang out at the country club and golf all day. I'm going to fire you and find somebody who wants to do the job. You can still own your shares, right? So I think the language that you're using there, it's smart to really think through how is the other person perceiving this.
Right.
Writing in very specific language that says either of us can cancel this agreement with 3 months notice. That doesn't mean I can cancel your payments to you. Once you've got those payments, you still get the payments, but that means that no new payments going forward. I'm canceling the agreement. I don't want to do anything new with you from that point on. Like making sure that language is crystal clear for both parties will keep you out of a lot of trouble, a lot of lawsuit stuff and all that you just don't want to be involved in.
And so I guess the very last caveat to that is like, okay, 24 months down the road, I'm still paying these guys for a deal that they referred me 24 months ago. They're not having to do squat, and yeah, I'm grateful. It's a great client, but man, I'm still shelling out money, and they're not.
Yeah, but that just means so when you create this deal, you should think 36 months from now and think I'm still paying this guy. Am I happy about that? If you're not, it's not a good deal for you today. And you shouldn't have signed it and structured it that way. As an example, when I started Everon, my IT services business, I started it with 100% commission sales reps. I had 100% commission sales reps sitting in an office in Boston making calls. I was still paying those people 5 years later. And I loved every single time I sent a check. I was like, Heidi was one of my top salespeople. I would write her a check for like 10 grand, like 5 years later.
Wow.
And every time I did, I was happy as shit because I was like, I'm literally paying for this woman's retirement or her kids to go to college or whatever. And it's a good trade-off because she busted her ass with no salary for a year and a half when I started this business. And that got us going. And so, yes, I'm still paying commission on those customers, but they're still good customers to me. They're profitable. I've got my momentum. I've got my business. It's still a good deal. But you should forecast three years from now and go, I'm still paying this person every month. If you're not happy about the economics then, you shouldn't be happy about the deal today. You should adjust today because you don't want to get 3 years from now and go, I'm starting to feel a little light in my wallet. I'm going to try and bamboozle this, agreement to, cancel you or something like that. Then you start getting into trouble.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You bet, man. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here, Brad.
Yeah.
Kyle, my man.
What's up, man?
How are you, sir?
Pretty decent. How are you?
Good. Hey, hold on real quick before you ask your question, just so I don't ignore the people in the chat here real quick.
All right.
Jason, yes, I still use ThriveCart. I love ThriveCart. The reason why I use it and love it, just to be super clear, super simple to set up, but still lots of flexibility in terms of the types of products you can create. And also super simple to run for multiple businesses. So I have multiple businesses, so I can run everything through one cart system, see my reports across all those businesses in one place, things like that. So the things that make it good for me may not make it good for everybody, but I really like it and have no complaints about it. Okay. Do I know of any non-English speakers that have successfully built a successful agency based on Go High Level? I believe I can make it work, but I didn't know if there are any before me. Personally, I know I have customers who come through here on these calls and stuff like that. I can't think of any of them by name right now, but I have people who come through these calls that are non-native English speakers who have used HighLevel to build an agency. Yes. And then most importantly, I would say if you get into the HighLevel community, you'll find that there's plenty of them in there. So you're not alone for sure. You're all good. And I would not make that a hesitation of moving forward. Okay. Do you know if HighLevel has a grade level lead connector version of their help doc library? I don't think so yet. Paul. I know they've talked about it, but I don't think so. Okay. All right, Kyle, my man. Thank you.
All good. Yes. So I have a few quickies, if that's cool.
Yeah.
So one thing I've noticed since switching over to coupon tools, I used to kind of like, we built acquisition campaigns for restaurants using ManyChat, which I basically learned from Matt Platt. I noticed the conversion rates tend to be like lower in coupon tools. And I'm just wondering if that's something you've noticed or like if you have any tips on kind of increasing those conversion rates.
And which conversion rate are you referring to? Are you talking about redemption of the coupon itself?
Yeah, redemptions.
I think that the number one thing is to just build your SMS list of those people so that you can just like more vocally remind them than maybe the app will do natively, because I think that it's not necessarily built with the same degree of direct response that you or Matt Platt would use in ManyChat.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I will do that. Yeah. The tricky thing is I've noticed that opt-in rates go up way higher when I use lead ads versus sending people to the coupon tools thing. So I've been trying to do that. And then it kind of like Jimmy rigging the two together is a little janky at the moment, but
yeah. I think that they're going to make that easier for you pretty darn soon here, FYI.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, I had a conversation with Bert. I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Anyways,
I had a conversation with Bert after you had a conversation with Bert.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Okay, so I notice a major pain point. I don't think you'll sympathize too much with this because I think your approach is to just have one ad account. But like I run ads for restaurants and like, I try to subscribe to best practices where like I connect my BM with their BM and, they basically they have ownership over their ad account. Fuck, it is such a nightmare.
Wait, UpHex though, right? Are you using UpHex?
No, but that leads me to that's actually one of my questions. What is UpHex? Like I've played around.
Come on.
I'm sorry.
And get it through my link here that I'm going to put in here because then you will get all the ad library bonuses and all that type of stuff that I've built out all the templates for you. Okay. Make it easy for you. So you'll get all the templates and then you can just go through and tweak them. But UpHex is awesome. It's like the high level of Facebook ad management for small businesses. So
that sounds great.
What it does is it interfaces to their account so that you do not have to directly manage their account, set up anything like that. So what you will do is you will take essentially your interface for UpHex. It'll get embedded into their HighLevel account on their dashboard on the left-hand side. So they'll have a new tab for Facebook ads. They'll click on that and then it will be inside of, they'll essentially be inside of an UpHex interface that you could do this one way or both ways. They could take your ad templates and everything and just launch their ads according to their ad templates. So if they had any sophistication about Facebook advertising, they could theoretically do that. But I think the way that most people should do it is you will be able to launch ads from UpHex into their Facebook accounts without ever going into their Facebook accounts, without touching anything, customize the campaigns and everything inside of UpHex, and then just say go, and it will launch inside of their accounts. But then it'll give you good data and dashboards and stuff inside of UpHex so you can see how those ads are performing across all of your clients. You can see how a particular template of yours is performing across all of your clients, all that type of stuff. It's really cool.
Okay. and it solves the onboarding problem of like having to, because what often happens is someone created a business manager for them a long time ago, which houses their accounts, their Instagram, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. And no one knows who created the original business manager. And in order to have a different business manager house it, that it has to be released from that other one. And that's just like the nightmare. And so,
yeah, I mean, that has nothing to do with you or Upex. That has to do with them being a mess, unfortunately. So,
I mean, most of them are.
I know.
So that's why I thought you wouldn't sympathize with it, because I don't think you
Yeah.
go that route.
I do sympathize with you. It's just, it has nothing to do with you or the tools or anything. That's just your customer not being organized, or somebody else like kind of hijacking their accounts and not, being easy to work with or whatever.
Well, and Meta makes it like impossible to like release it. Oh man, meltdown modes a couple times this week with new clients. So okay, yeah. I'll check out Upex. It's still a little foggy in my mind. Maybe I'm dumb, but
you absolutely. I will be shocked if you do not immediately get it and want it once you just watch a demo of it.
Okay.
It to me, almost completely solves the issue of being a Facebook ad manager for small businesses, which I have always thought is a stupid thing to do. But if you have Upex, I no longer think that that's the case, because you can make it into a very scalable, simple to deliver service.
Okay, awesome. I will do that, which was literally my next question, because I'm getting to a point where I'm ready to like get more out of fulfillment. Mm-hmm. And so I was going to ask what Upex is, and if you have any experience with agency elevation.
No experience with agency elevation. Don't know what that is.
Okay, it's basically like white label management of some of this stuff. Looks pretty cool.
I would never. So I'll give this. I'll get up on my soapbox here for the benefit of other people. I would never do Facebook ad management based on labor, time, talent for any small business, unless that small business was capable of investing $50,000, $100,000 a month into ads. The only reason that I would do that, or the only reason that would then make sense, is because that means that they could pay me enough to actually do management and have it make sense. So in other words, if you're a small business and you're investing $500 a month in Facebook ads, then in order for me to do management, I can't really do management of anything and make it make sense for your budget. If I'm going to manage anything, it's going to cost a couple $1,000s a month in time for me to manage that. So your $500 budget versus my $2,000 management fee, the ROI of the ads I'm doing for you is going to have to be remarkable to compensate for my fee. What I could do, and this is what Upex allows you to do, what I could do is, hey, you've got a $500 ad budget. For $97, I can give you access to my Facebook ad system that's proven in your industry. And Kyle, you do this perfectly, man. Every restaurant should have these 7 ads running. I've got them all designed for you, all that type of stuff. For $97 a month, I'll load those ads into your account. You can put whatever budget you want to them. So now with Upex, you can take those ad templates, do very minor customization real quick. They even have custom values, just like HighLevel does. And you can just drop those ad campaigns into their account and give them some nice reporting and all that type of stuff. But now it's $97 a month and it's passive, right? So that's how I would do it. And that's what Upex allows you to do, Kyle, is once you create those best practice templates and you know how to customize them for the clients using the custom values and stuff like that, you honestly can hire somebody very, very, very super junior, intern level, and just train them up with a couple of videos and say, hey, every time we bring on a new customer, here's what you do to launch their campaigns. And then for those of you who really, and Kyle, again, I think that this makes sense for you, but for those of you who are really trying to take this to the level of systems, like I would like you to, it's not just we're doing Facebook ad management. It's you're getting the restaurant growth ad system by Kyle. And the restaurant growth ad system by Kyle includes the ads. It includes the coupons. It includes the follow-up campaigns once they've opted into the coupon to get them into redeem. So you're providing all of that in a system rather than saying we do ad management, which is just a whole can of worms.
So it could include ads, coupons. It could include like like follow-up messages, like reminders and deadline sequences.
No. You're doing all that through HighLevel and through coupon tools. Yeah, which you already have. So
okay. That's awesome. Okay, I'm signed up.
Cool.
Blah, 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 blah. If I may, one real quick. If not, it's okay. Do you have any experience with Bright Local?
Bread local?
Bright Local.
Bright local. Bright
It seems
local.
cool. It's like a local SEO tool, allows you to pump out like quick little rankings reports and stuff like that. It's pretty sweet.
Man, I want to say that I'm familiar with this name from like a long time ago, but I don't know. But no, I don't have enough familiarity with them at all to say anything good or bad about them or anything. But you're saying I should check them out? They're pretty cool.
Yeah, I think so, because like as I work with restaurants, I'm getting clear on the things that move the needle and the things that don't, and like organic social media, like I'm so done with. There's no more organic social. Maybe some light posting, but it's ads. It's building their website from my standpoint, and it's driving up their traffic on their website. These are the things that they seem to value. Anyways, I'm basically going down the rabbit hole of local SEO a bit more, and Bright Local seems like a great tool so far. So
yeah, I do think that local SEO is a great big opportunity. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because I didn't know squat about, as you know, I didn't know anything about SEO until just the last year. Completely neglected it.
Well, that's all I got. I think.
Awesome. Jennifer says, yeah, I have to get an affidavit signed to gain access to my own business manager after it was hijacked last year. It was crazy. That is crazy. Just to confirm, you send customer info from Thrivecart to Go HighLevel using Zapier. Yes, Jason, that's exactly what I do. I use tags. So in Thrivecart is a tag-based system. So when somebody purchases, you assign tags to them, and then you can send the tags to HighLevel. And then Bright Local, he says they've been going for years. That's cool. Awesome. All right, what other questions? How about some questions from the chat crowd? Thanks, Kyle, man. I appreciate you. Any questions from the chat crowd over here? I think I've answered the ones that I see in there. So let me know if there's anything else that I can answer for you. And then happy Friday. And also, Brittany, are you giving me an update? Is that what that is? Update on the promo. Yeah. Let's look. Let's see here. In terms of sales, I can't remember. I think that we're like just over a couple, just around a couple $1,000 in sales. So Brittany is asking about this event that I'm promoting. So I'm promoting a tequila tasting, high-end tequila tasting party with a couple of other businesses here in the area. And let's see here, Facebook ad. So, this is a couple things. Thank you, Brittany, because I did want to share this with everybody. So right now I'm testing Facebook stories ads versus Instagram stories ads. And you can see right here, look at this, 56 cents a click for Instagram stories ads versus 33 cents a click for Facebook stories ads. So right now, it looks like Facebook stories ads are a significant bargain compared to the Instagram stories ads. So may want to test that, and that may not be too surprising given that stories on Facebook, I think, are a more recent addition versus, oh shoot. Am Am I not sharing it? Hold on 1 second here. Oh, I am sharing it. I just have my big mug pulled over. There we go. So hold on, let me go back to that first screen. Thank you for letting me know. And thank you, whoever it was who told me that I should set up my iPad and start being able to view the thing on my iPad too, so I can see when I'm screwing up, because that's saved me a bunch already. So you can see right here, sorry, here are Instagram stories. I know it's small. Instagram stories, traffic ads, 56 cents a click. And Facebook stories, traffic ads, 33 cents a click. So my Instagram stories ads are almost 2 times the cost per click. And then, as always, everybody, listen to me here and now, always be testing on your ads. Because as you can see here, I put in 1, 2, 3, 4 different ad images. The rest is exactly the same, 4 different ad images. And as you can see here, one of them has 175 clicks versus the other 3 combined 25 and 24. Okay, so always want to be testing, because anytime you think you know what's going to work, you can pretty much be guaranteed that something else is actually going to work. So make sure that you are testing at the platform level, right? So Instagram versus Facebook. Test at the what do you call that? The actual ad format level. So the type of ad. So is it a feed ad or a stories ad or a reels ad or whatever? Always test that. And then always test the creative. So it's the actual image, you know. You don't have to test all of those things at once, and you definitely should not test all of those things at once unless you have a good amount of budget, okay? Because the more you're testing at one time, the more you need to invest to make that actually work, okay? And then these are, let's see here, these are some content posts, 7 cents per click, 7 cents per click, 9 cents per click. And then what are these? Do I have anything active over here? No, nothing active over there. Cool. Yeah, so that's that, Brittany. That's our update for now, and I will keep you posted here as that thing wraps up, which is just like 6 days from now. And the way ticket sales work in San Diego, I have learned, is that most of your ticket sales are going to happen in the last couple of days, because people have so many options of things to do here in San Diego that they wait until the last minute, and it drives me crazy. Let's see here, you have a question from Justin and one from Living Success. Let me see here, Justin. What are the best practices for B2B with HighLevel? Thank you, Jennifer. What are the best practices for B2B with HighLevel? My client gets almost all their leads through referrals, so ads aren't the best solution to gather leads. Yeah. What kind of business is it, Justin? Because most businesses that get all their leads through referrals, most of them just haven't tested ads and or don't really know how to advertise effectively. So as an example, what kind of business gets all of your leads from referrals? Let's say I'm a high-end lawyer. So a high-end lawyer would tell you, oh, I don't advertise. I get, it's all word of mouth because I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm the smartest guy in the world, right? But if you are the smartest lawyer in the world and you're getting all of your ads from referral, and you're telling me that promoting and distributing, or creating and promoting via distribution ads that is essentially promoting content about you, about the big cases that you've won, about your theories on how you approach those big cases, and that's what's made you so successful, that promoting that content wouldn't be successful to generate more business for you, I would say you're crazy. right? If you think that you're such a big shot lawyer that everybody out there just knows and that you don't have to share your ideas, I would say that's nuts, right? Awesome. Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate it. Great to have you in the community. So Justin says it's a development association that works with site selectors for companies. Wow. It is a development association that works with site selectors for companies. Okay. Justin, I am not afraid to admit that I have no freaking clue what any of that means. I have zero understanding of that business. It is a development association. I think that what you mean is that site selectors for companies. So literally there are people employed by companies who say we are going to develop our next office in this community versus that community. And so we're researching to determine which community we're going to decide to develop our next office in as a company, our next location as a company. So if like I'm a restaurant franchise and I'm deciding between Carmel Valley, San Diego, or Sorrento Valley, San Diego. Okay, that's exactly right. Okay, cool. Well, I guess I'm not quite as dumb as I thought there. So in that case, I would suspect that a business like that, there has got to be a ton. And this is the point. This is the same point with the high-end lawyer. Any business like that is in business and successful because of their knowledge and their judgment, that somebody is then turning to them and say, give me your knowledge and your judgment to help me select the right location for my business so I don't screw that up, right? And so any business that is based on knowledge and judgment, the most scalable customer acquisition thing that you can possibly do in today's world is publish content, sharing that knowledge and judgment so that somebody can read your content and go, oh, wow, these guys know what they're talking about. Let me opt in to then at least stay on their newsletter. But as we're getting closer to evaluating, making some decisions, maybe hire them, whatever, right? So they absolutely could be publishing that content and promoting that content as ads. So they're not necessarily designed to be direct response ads, although they could be. Download our white paper on the 7 most important factors for choosing your restaurant location in 2023, right? But they don't have to be. They could just be publishing a post on LinkedIn and then promoting it to the right audience. But content marketing is absolutely the answer for that kind of business or any other kind of business, again, where it's kind of that higher end knowledge, expertise, that type of thing. So I hope that helps you. And then Jennifer said, who was the other one? Let's see here. Tim, I'm going to give you access to the new moguls later on today. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. Here we go. Upgraded to SaaS 497 using your affiliate link, but your team is saying they don't see it. I reached out to go HighLevel support with no luck. Really anxious. Let me know what your email is. This is not unusual, unfortunately. The tracking system, for HighLevel is not the best, and so every day we're trying to track down somebody who meant to buy through us and then couldn't. It's not getting credited. We have to go back to HighLevel and get that sorted out. So I'm sorry, it is a hassle. And there's not really much that we can do other than just be persistent in continuing to track it down. It's simply a matter of the tracking link just didn't feed the data into HighLevel system correctly. And so they just have no idea that you tried to buy through us. So in almost all cases, we can just get that sorted out with HighLevel. They assign your account to us and we're all good to go. Okay. So I apologize about that, and just send the email to help@servicesthatscale.com. help@servicesthatscale.com. It'll create a ticket. Make sure that in that ticket you have the email address that you use to sign up. so that we know which one to look up, with HighLevel, and then we can work to get that squared away. Okay. There is a possibility that it honestly is just like you may have already been associated with another affiliate and they just can't move your account to us to maintain integrity with our other affiliates. But usually if you meant to sign up with us, it's just a goof up that we can fix. Okay. Oh, good question. Chaz says, what's the best way to not get overwhelmed with all the tools available in HighLevel? Okay. This is a super important question because there's so much and HighLevel continues to roll out so much. Okay. So the first thing is to define what you need to be dealing with based on your needs of your customers and the service packages that you're going to create for them. So in other words, if you say, hey, I'm dealing with restaurants and really what they need is a birthday campaign opt-in, and that means I have to have an ad for that, a landing page for that, and then a birthday campaign follow-up sequence. And they need to have review capture and posting, and they need to have SMS to be able to message their list every week with a new deal to come into the restaurant. Once you've defined those things that they need that you want to deliver through your services, I mean, obviously take a look at the other things in HighLevel, but if they don't immediately apply to those services that you want to offer, don't go down the rabbit hole. You don't need those things right now. Okay. And your customers do not need to be bleeding edge at anything. Okay. If your customers are small businesses, they don't need to be bleeding edge. They need to get caught up to anywhere near current, right? So don't waste your time thinking, oh, the latest super duper G whiz, tech just came out and HighLevel rolled it out. So now I've got to offer that to my customers. Your customers are not even doing the basics right now. If they're small businesses, they're just not even doing the most basic, simple things right now. Start with those. Okay. Now, what I would tell you, what I personally do, and what I think that everybody should do is once a month, sit down and go, okay, what's all this awesome new stuff that HighLevel rolled out? Like, I don't want to just ignore it. So once a month or so, go through all those new features and go, okay, out of all these new things, is there anything that I should actually, start to use? Because it is valuable to me right now or to my customers right now. Okay. But I just want you to keep in mind that, again, your small business customers are probably only doing right now 5% of what they even should be doing anyway. As an example, I use this example a lot because I think it's illustrative of the truth. I go out and I eat at restaurants in San Diego every day. I mean, I eat at every restaurant in San Diego. I love to eat out. There is now, I think there's 2 restaurants in all of San Diego that are following up with me in any way. 2 restaurants. One is a quick service Mexican place that sends me a new coupon or essentially a new deal like every week. Good for them. No surprise. Guess what? They have a bunch of locations and they're doing well. Second is that they send me a birthday message every year on my birthday. Hey, it's your birthday. Coming in for a free lunch. Awesome. Why every restaurant doesn't do that is beyond me. Okay. The second restaurant that follows up with me is the exact opposite type of restaurant, which I think that this is illustrative. Okay. These guys are like the cool kids restaurant group, right? I mean, literally, like it's like their restaurants and their bars and stuff. It's like marketed towards like you're either going to Tulum, Mexico to go to a music festival with Calvin Harris, or you're coming to our restaurants. Like that's how cool they are, right? So, and they send out a weekly newsletter that's cool. It's all the cool branding. It's the pretty people that are in their restaurants. It's the party that they're throwing next. And it's all done with really good marketing, and there's no coupons. There's no buy one, get one frees, and none of that. It's come in and spend your money with the cool kids, right? So they're going after branding, and they're doing a great job, and they're expanding like crazy too, but totally different approach. So the type of business gets a different approach, but literally I eat out constantly, and those are the only 2 restaurants that I get any follow-up from. It's pretty shocking. Johnny, I see you back there. Would you like to come on camera? Do you want to come on and ask a question? Just raise your hand if you want to come on camera. Yep, cool. Hey there, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you doing, Mike?
Good, thank you. How can I help you?
I was just going through your training, and you mentioned a few things about hiring a sales team. And I do have a few friends that they're interested to earn money on the side. So what I in my mind is I'm building a product right now in the price range. I was thinking from 300 to 700 each to test it out. What do you think is the best way to set it up for someone who want to make a part-time income? Once I have a valid offer in the market for like 3 or 4 or 5 clients on the go, and then I can roll out.
Good question. Is it $300 to $700 a month recurring?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the price range I'm thinking to sell to.
And what who are they selling to? What kind of businesses are these going to?
I would say most people I know, like a lot of people I know, is realtors, and also brick and mortar business. I know a lot in terms of selling furnitures, and those are the people I think my connection. I have a lot of connection in this space.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so these friends that are going to help you, do they have any connection to that industry now? So they know some people in there, or is it going to be like cold for them starting?
Oh, they have connections. Those are business owners, and they know people.
Okay.
But I'm just thinking about how do I build a program that is so attractive for them. Just, for example, send out email to all their customers, and then they just sign up.
That's awesome. Okay, so that's good. So that gives you the opportunity for them to get business pretty darn quickly and at a pretty good volume. And that's awesome, because if they were going cold and they had to just get started, then of course their cost of sales is going to be much higher, so you're going to have to pay them much more. At $300 to $700 a month, if you just got out your calculator real quick and you did 1/12, so one payment out of the year is 8.3%. Okay. If you did then 2 payments out of the year, that's 16.6%. So 16% as a sales cost would be really low for you, but that could be a really nice number for them. So let's say your average thing was $350 and you're paying them 2 times. So that's $700 commission that they could earn from emailing their list about your services and getting people to come in. And if they have a decent sized list and get a decent number of customers that come in, and everyone is $700, that could be a nice, like, oh, that was easy. And now I got $700 and I got 5 this month, and I just paid for my portion, my, payment for my cabin up in the mountains or something like that. Right. So like, again, the conversation I was having with, I think it was Brad that I was having a conversation with earlier, where you're trying to understand your cost of sales versus also, and then balance that with like what the incentives are that are necessary for them to actually keep you in mind and want to promote you. So you want it to be rich enough that they're actually thinking about promoting you. And then you want it to be not so rich that it messes up with your economics. Okay. So if you're selling to small businesses and you've got a sales and marketing cost like of 20-25% or so, you're doing pretty good. Sales and marketing costs 20-25% is pretty good. So if you gave them 2 months, that's 16.6% or somewhere around there. You're under that 20 and 25%. So I would consider something like that and see how does that go for you. Maybe it turns out you have to make it a little richer. Maybe you don't have to, but I think somewhere around there is a nice number. And then I personally prefer to pay them up front when I can, if you can afford to just go ahead and pay them up front, because everybody gets more excited when they get $700 in their hand today versus getting, let's say, $65 a month for the next 12 months, right? $700 just feels better, even though, it's probably a relatively similar financial agreement.
Got it. Perfect. And just another question. I got 2 questions. The other one is, when you build a signature program and when you do the avatar building an avatar for the ideal customer, like in terms of how in depth do I need to go through? Like, what are the, like, in your experience, what are other students, what are the things that they why should focus on building that avatar? Like, what are the mistakes should I avoid so that I don't pick the wrong people, wasting time?
I think it is. I think so. The biggest mistake that people make is just not really doing the homework of selecting an avatar at all. That's the biggest mistake. So just the fact that you're gonna like pick one and like be deliberate about it says you're already doing well. Getting overly concerned about the details of that person, I think, only will matter if you are in an industry where within that big industry, there's actually a lot of really different characters. So as an example, if you said, oh, I'm just going to target the real estate industry. Well, are you target agents, brokers, mortgage lender? Like there's all these different roles inside of the real estate industry. So in that case, you really should understand the specific role that you're targeting, because they have different incentives and needs and things than another person in that industry with a different role. So I would, just as much as possible, just do the common sense of kind of making sure that you understand what are the differences of those roles in the industry and understand their incentives and stuff like that. Then after that, I would just get started and just start marketing and selling, because the best feedback that you're going to get is the feedback that you're going to get from the market, rather than sitting and analyzing it too much.
You really give me a great answer. Yeah. So it gave me some memory back when I was thinking, if I understand their role, I would understand their pain point 1 to 3. Then I just go talk to them, let them apply to you. Then we can use the HighLevel feature to solve pain point 1 to 3. Then it's easier sell.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, that's all my question for today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's good to see you here, Johnny.
Pleasure. Thank you much, Mike.
All right. Take care. All right. I'm going to answer a couple questions here in the chat, and then I got to run. Rob says, can you import a WordPress site into Go HighLevel and use it as a template? Well, you can't import it as in like, here's the one button to press to have it import. You can't do that, Rob, but you can have somebody rebuild it for you. And it's just not that hard or expensive. So, if you just hire somebody on Fiverr that knows HTML, and say, just have them rebuild it inside of HighLevel, it's really not that hard. Okay. So that's what I would do. And David says, testing WordPress on Go HighLevel, not happy at all. That's a bummer. It's a matter of biting the bullet and rebuilding them and Go HighLevel. Just don't have the time right now. Yeah, but David, just hire somebody. Just hire somebody. Get on Fiverr and hire somebody. Honestly, somebody will get it done for you in just a handful of days. It won't take them long at all. And you can, if it's a template you really want built, you can have it done for a couple $100, that type of thing. The funnels through LC is the way. Yeah, I hear you, Bart. I got it. LC being lead connector. Yep. So yeah, you can take your things that you publish in HighLevel, but then have them show up on their WordPress site using lead connector. Okay. Awesome. I have to run, everybody. I've got an appointment that I've got to get to here pretty darn quick, and I'm going to be late. Don't want to be late. So thank you, everybody, for being here, being a part of my community. I appreciate your business and your time and your attention and participation here. I hope that the call was helpful for you. We've got the start of a new quarter here. Please use this as an opportunity to do a little bit of self-assessment, a little bit of reflection, set those goals, get clear, get fired up, put some measures in place that you know if you're on track or not here, and get out there and get after it, okay? Have an awesome weekend. Thank you so much, and we will see you on a future call or in the community before then, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.